What up? What up? How y'all this morning? What up? What up? What up?
Once in a lifetime. Yeah. Rapper had to earn my stripes like black zebras. Rap Jesus, dark skinned nigga with a black season. Plus my only communion was grand flinging. Black man know that he trap, but he stay dreaming. For nature won't nurture the womb of a black mother.
Good was good. Good morning, yo, Grand Rising.
He raps and he raps and still hustle. Better than traps
and
raps, gram shuffle. Got a mind full of free power. Little storms and a few showers.
Good morning, yo. Let me get a couple more people in the room and we'll get to it.
We from the dirt, we beneath flowers. You out of pocket, that's your man, right? You gon' rob him, that's your man, right? You gon' have to slide him, that's the plan, right? All cause you ain't spend your bread right. Snake nigga.
What's good, what's good, what's good? How y'all doing this morning? We're gonna get to this morning convo this morning. We're gonna touch a couple topics this morning to keep it pushing. And we're gonna talk, Dr. Ben gonna talk about my aunt leaving off where where they was talking about religion that came from the Maat concept. We're gonna talk about Phil Valintine. We're gonna go do another Phil Valintine video. We're gonna be talking about the law and contracts and status correction. And then we're gonna hit Bobby Hemmit for esoteric as well. But to start us off this morning, just to get the blood flowing like I do before we get into like the meat of the convos or the information, I figured I'd give y'all some inspiration. 2 things from Nip, one real short and the other one like 15 minutes. Just inspiration in the morning for everybody who need it, man. Grand Rising. Before we get to the knowledge and the information, let's get to it. Wrong video. As good as this one.
I learned when I was younger, like, you can't put your expectation of me on me. I'm me, you feel me? And you're not gonna ever make me feel bad for it. You're not gonna, make me react to how you reacting to me. I don't care, I'm me. And if I part of who I am, is disrespectful or is, crossing the line of like basic things, I'm gonna check myself. But, we all are individuals. So for you to think my balance or my ratio, I'm too this or too that, and I ain't got enough of this and enough of that, that's all.
I played the first little clip this morning just to show y'all that, I think we all represent in our life. We have a problem when what we trying to do with our life or how we trying to live our life and the goals we set that everybody might not agree with or everybody might not understand. So when Nip was saying like, yo, you can't put your expectations on me, like you can't like tell me what I'm supposed to be when I got a life to live and I got ambitions and dreams. Cause people got a plan for you or feel like you supposed to be doing this or feel like you supposed to be doing that or what you doing ain't feasible or what you doing ain't worth nothing. At the end of the day, like Nip said, like, yo, you can't put that on me. What you want from me or what you think of me, that's your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I go outside the lines and I overstep my boundaries with my mind, you know what I'm saying, how I'm going about it, I check myself. But it's just to let y'all know in the morning, like, man, keep in mind, do you be yourself and don't let nobody bother you. Because other people's expectations from parents to friends, you know what I'm saying, they don't have no right. Just do what you doing, what you love, and stay focused.
I can't take that one. But I don't think Crenshaw got a mayor, but somebody that care about the area and want to see it make progress with us as we make our progress, definitely. Thank y'all. I'm super excited too for the moment to be here where it's a music moment and everybody's excited about the music, me included, but like you said, it was a lot of clearing the way for this, so we both very excited. That was one of the that was actually the exercise, just what you just asked. How do you calm yourself down? And I think the benefit of me being in the game for some years and dropping music, the first time I dropped a project, I got feedback from it. I got to see the lifespan of a project. I got to see what it's like to drop it, people care about it, consume it, tour off of it, get the feedback, and then it goes and becomes an old thing. And you got to go back in and do
Millie,
it
what
again.
up?
I've done that a few times to where I got to see what was really important. Like it might be an it producer or an it hook singer at the moment, and you do a song with them, and then the project goes on a cycle, and then it's no longer new and it's not exciting, and then 3 songs off of that project still count. And it's not the ones with the big producer or the important, after the general excitement is dead, it's a different, the records that you might not have been conscious of what you put into them when you made them, but after you do 10 projects or 9 projects, you start looking at which ones lasted, which ones work at the show, and you see your lane. So for me, I saw my lane, like, this is why they connect to me, this is why they fucking with me right here. And I wanted my album to be a collection of those records. It's something that you can do in a record that puts it above expiration. You know what I'm saying? And then you can have records that's dope but they have an expiration date, and then there's something that can happen in the production of a song that removes the material that makes it spoil or make it go bad or makes it become have a shelf life. And I don't think that's like a surface level thing you're gonna observe, but you'll realize the mixture of what went into those songs after you do enough of them and make enough music and create enough. You start to see like, oh, it's really, from my experience, it's the intention. It's like you lose it immediately if you go into a creative space with the business intention.
Meaning that if you're an artist or you're a creator or you're an inventor or whatever you do in life, you're gonna create a business or something, and you start off during your creation process thinking about money or thinking about business, then you're gonna lose a lot of your worth in your art.
Lost it. You can still succeed with the business intention and make a product that succeeds, but the art value's gone immediately. And it's like to check your intentions going into the album and bring what you learned from all your other shit to it and say, as challenging as it's gonna be and as much as I'm gonna be tempted and pressured to create under these pressures of like a radio hit or making it a song that millions of people can consume and relate to, I ain't wanna have them intentions because I learned from my last shit. I've tried that and it's always visible. It's always present in the music. You can't not hear it when you listen to somebody's shit. You can hear their intentions. You can hear what they trying to do. So if you come to it with like the intention of, I want to tell the truth, I want to inspire people, I want to entertain, and I want to like raise my aesthetic and my effectiveness in just expressing what I'm trying to get off, the records come out different in my experience.
Is making an album like a
baby. I think it's like a baby. You're not aware of what could go wrong. So you just jump off the bed, you walk down the steps, you could kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? You play with your hands in the corner of the door. You know what I'm saying? You don't trip because you're not even aware. And then you get educated on what could go wrong. And now you start, it restrain your expression. You know what I'm saying? You don't just be free with it. You know what I mean? So I think that's the part of like a learning curve, is that it's a benefit of not knowing.
Right, it's a benefit. It's like in life when it comes down to information. There's a benefit to being ignorant, or as they would say, to not know, or being bliss, because you don't have a burden to know what's really going on around you. But as the mind that's conscious, it's a lot more burden on you because you know the worries. And they say, do you think music like a baby? That's why on the album, the last album I put out like a month and a half ago, I was saying that your dream is like a baby. You gonna have to raise it by yourself. You don't know what to expect from your baby. So when it come down to these dreams or what you want to be in life, you don't really know. Like a child, you don't know what that child gonna grow up to be. You don't know, but you're gonna jump off the bridge with it because it's yours. You know what I'm saying? And you will learn the structure and stuff as you go along. So in this dream, in the music, or in this business, it's like when you first start rapping, I tell a lot of rappers it's fun. You just thinking about rapping, beats or whatever, and getting in the studio, but you're not mindful of all of the other business and the other steps that come involved that'll help you yourself push forward without all the help. But at the same time, it's a blessing and the bliss in the beginning because you could just focus on art. You know what I'm saying?
You just raw. Whatever you are, you bring it to your art. And then you start learning shit, and you got to figure out how to keep the rawness in it. From learning all these ways to be more effective, you got to learn how to not let the raw material get filtered out. And then from all these rules, you realize there's only one rule. That's why they say you learn the rules so you know how to break them. Because, you know, you realize what's really important. And it's a golden rule. And if you don't break the golden rule, all the other shit people will forgive and accept, long as you don't break the golden rule in the art, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Which is like, tell the truth. You know what I mean? Draw from your experience. Tell the truth.
Yeah, like the golden rule is you never will run out of art, whether if you're a painter, a rapper, or a singer, if you're drawing from your true life experiences. Like if you really drawing from your life or things you know or things your friends or family went through or just a good gauge of the world, you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? That's the golden rule. All the rules, like when you, for example, like you go to film school, they got all these rules for you. But then as you working in film, you realize like none of them rules really matter except for a few, because the rest of them you can bend and break. You can create, like they'll say, you don't never use this color, but there's some guys out there that'll use this color and freak it and make a new effect. So the key to this life, in my opinion, is that you're gonna, in every game you in every room you in, whatever you playing, is rules to it. And then you just need to study the game enough to learn the rules so you can live in between the lines and bend and break the rules. Because what does the great creator say of our ancestors? You know what I'm saying? The only way you could break a law is to become the law.
Yeah, definitely. From the jump, I've been working with 1500 to nothing. And so all my music, my branches, they come from the tree of 1500. So all my producers, songwriters, musicians, I met through Rance, Mars, James, Brody. You know, even my engineer G, everybody came from the 1500 production group or movement. So I met a production duo named Mike and Keys through 1500, and we did Crenshaw. A lot of the records on Crenshaw, they produced with 1500, and then we did, you know, we had Check Me Out, which ended up being a big record for me in terms of touring and just my fan base. It got a little bit of mix show love without us really aiming at it. It was just a dope record that ended up working semi. So I'm like, this sound is where I made a lot of progress. So I want to stay here with the album. Well, I'm a rapper. So I've been up there where you get a band and, you know, it turns into the Playboy Jazz Festival. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against that. It's just the songs sound different.
Facts. They asked him, do he ever perform with a band? If you ever been on stage, like I did a show at Zydeco's years ago, probably like 12 years ago, and they was like, send your music in. We're going to give you this, we'll play your music. And I'm thinking like, yo, I already felt like I don't think you're going to be able to play this. Some of these sound effects that made use, and I don't even know if y'all could even play this, but I know y'all could play some. Man, I got to the show, they didn't really know it. They kind of winged it. And it was like, it kind of irritated me a little bit, but that's why, like, you know, you got to have a band. If you're going to play with a band, that really got to be like your band or a band that's dedicated to what you're doing. You hired them, or, you know what I'm saying, they know the music. That's the only way it'll work as far as, like, live performances. It's dope, but if you're just trying to wing it, it's a little harder. You know what I'm saying? And then if the band get on some jazzy shit and they really cater to hip-hop, they'll change the whole feel of the show.
I mean, normally, traditionally, I just go off of, like, and this is how I describe my shit to producers, because producers will get offended if they play you 15 beats and you don't pick one. They get to thinking that they beat is whack, or you don't like it, or you got to be clear. I had to learn how to articulate that. You know, artists, we listening to the song that we hear words on. So you might hear 10 beats and you don't hear words on these yet. That don't mean the beat ain't tight. That don't mean that you ain't gonna rap on it next week. You just don't hear words right now. And the studio costs money, and we want to go the path of least resistance. So the one that's speaking to me today is the one we gonna rap on. That's based on how you feel, what you woke up on, what you listen to. It's a lot of factors that, you know, dictate what record you or what production you're gonna write a song to today. So I go off of like
the jewel in this part of his conversations when he said, as a producer or as an artist, especially artists got to learn how to articulate to their producers and let them know what exactly is what they feel. Because I have been in the room with a lot of producers, including myself, and it's like people don't say nothing, you get a mixed feeling. The truth is, artists is looking for the least resistance, meaning that if you making beats or whatever, or whatever the case is, you got a hook for a rapper, then you got to get them something that they feel like, ooh, they can see it, which will make their verses easy. Meaning that they're going to spend money. So like he said, it's how they feel that day, what they listen to, and just what they feel like they can knock out and have fun doing it, and it's a banger. They're not looking to sit here for 3 hours. They're looking for the record that as soon as they hear it, it make them want to rap because it allows them to flow and they art naturally.
what's talking to me. Whatever convo I'm having with myself, what music supported. When I hear the record, I'm like, exactly. I don't gotta think to write a song to this. I could just go in the booth and talk right now because I'm feeling the way that this music feels. Marsha from Floyd, she's incredible on the album. She blessed me. Stacey Barth is on the title track. She
What up, cuzzo?
Like, that's the first thing you're gonna hear is her vocals on the album. Before you hear my voice, you're gonna hear Stacey Barth's vocal. You know, that record if I play you the original,
I want everybody to listen, all my producers and boom bap heads who love that 90s. Nipsey about to give you the game of how to be a 90s rapper and to be able to appeal to the audience today.
Be like, damn. It was like a boom bap, like a MPC sounding beat, like some drums and a sample. And then I wrote a song to it and I recorded the 3 verses and it didn't have a hook. The sample was like the hook. And then we brought this keyboard player named Amir. He's dope. He played with Big Sean. He produced on Big Sean's last 2 albums. He part of Big Sean band. He's just a dope young keyboard player. We brought him in and he just went crazy. He opened up the Pro Tools, rearranged the beat, chopped it, and just added musical parts all through the song. And then we brought Stacey in and she heard that and then she sung on top of it. And the record sounded completely different. Like way theatric, way just multi-dimensional musically. And that, when we did that record, I was like, this is what I want the foundation of the sound to be. I want it to be hard, like street bottom, like bass and drum. And I want it to be next level music on the top frequency. And I want my vocal to sit in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
That's game right there.
You don't like calling shit classic early and that the words timeless. I feel the same. I don't like throwing them words around. But when you think about the production that's popular right now, and when you make a project right now that doesn't necessarily sound like the production that's popular, I think that lends toward the music being received as outside of time. Because the time it sounds different than what this album does. So it doesn't sound like traditional production of 2017, 2018. But like you said, it's still current. It speaks to the moment in a different way. And I think when I look at like, I study music and I study artists and careers. And when you look at these albums that sold 10 million, like Tracy Chapman or like Adele or like, you know, even Nelly or Eminem's second album or any of them, and just even outside of hip hop, the production, 90% of the time, is not trendy. It's not seasonal. It's rooted in music. It's rooted in like chords and in instruments and in like traditional greatness of music. Even like Bruno Mars and to the level that they succeed on. If you really, really break down the production, Brody back there, you know what I'm saying, playing chords, you know what I mean? And it's being presented as a top tier pop product, but it's music, you know what I mean? So I think that was one of the intentions too in the production, was to use instruments, use real music and build it as a music statement that's not necessarily influenced by the sound of right now.
I'm gonna give y'all for all my artists out there, I give y'all a real game, and I hope y'all hear me. There's a difference between digital and analog. Analog is like instruments are living. Like, you know, sound is a living thing. So when you use real instrumentation, the music, the way the body and the ears respond to real instruments is different because it's living. The blood, you know what? I believe today, if we get time, I'm going to bring up, not today, tonight, the study of sound. That'll be my next thing for tomorrow morning, where you see how different sounds affect the blood, like how they put powder on a board, and how when they play instruments, different frequencies, the powder turns into triangles, squares, and rectangles. So analog is living sound. Digital is what sound would sound like if digital is like dead sound, but it's like what sound would sound like if it was alive. So it's a way, that's why they can get it so clear, but it's not living. The response to the human brain and to people are going to be different off digital, because that's why he said, like, you know, they're making it seem like it's pop music, but nah, it's music. You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted. These guys, they using real music.
But that's tricky because you don't want to be overly nostalgic. You don't want to be like a a legacy sounding like I'm trying to preserve an era. So the challenge was to make it, and my opinion on how we did it was the drums. Like with the real innovation and step forward that production took is the drums, the trap influence on the percussion, the snares and the triple hi-hats, and instead of, you know what I'm saying? That's old. When you hear that rhythm on the record, you automatically date it. You know, but when you hear the...
So for all my hip hop heads, you heard what Nip said. When you hear that, the listener instantly dates the record. Instantly. They also did some old school shit.
The rhythm is updated. You could do whatever with the music. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, any of them songs that I heard words. So as much whatever I thought people was gonna say, I'm like, this verse is tight. The beat might be different than what they normally hear me on, but I'm about to perform because I hear words. I'm about to deliver a dope message or a dope verse, or you know what I'm saying? So I always felt like if anything, it'll make you curious. Like, what he about to say on this? And then if I deliver, it'll bring you through your resistance to the production. You know what I mean? But that ended up being one of my favorite. Like when I go through my catalog, I listen to Call from the Bank. I listen to the MGMT flick. I listen to like, you know, the musical flexes. You know what I mean? To me, that's what is like excites me when I go back and I listen to Who Detached Us off TMC.
Who Detached Us?
Or I listen to, like you said, Call from the Bank off the Marathon. And it's like a classic rock beat on the Who Detached Us record, and it's a Steve Jobs verse or sample. It's like this song says featuring Steve Jobs. You know what I'm saying? So them as an artist, I look back and be like, yeah, that was a fearless attempt. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? I like, even if the execution wasn't all the way where it needed to be, just like, I got a record called Payback off Bullets Ain't Got No Name Volume 3. And I think those moments is like, it set me aside. So you like, I would never be guilty of being a, like, I don't want to say the wrong word, but like, yeah, or like exercising a sellable cliche. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know this work, and I'm gonna stay right here. I would never want to be guilty of that. So I always do that just on record. That, you know, as soon as you might have thought you gotta...
Saying he never stay in the same place as an artist. So we gonna give you good artists, we gonna give you great works for what we going through at the time or what we feel, but we're not gonna ever be content with recreating the same thing over and over again.
A word to put me as this is what this music is, well, you can't, because he made a record like Payback. You can't say it's gangster rap. You can't if you listen to Payback. You can't say it's conscious rap if you listen to Hustle in the House. You feel what I'm saying? But I got records like Been Here for a While that's equally honest as Hustle in the House. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like challenging, like, the people that import opinions, that import accepted opinions, instead of like really challenging themselves to feel a way about some shit. They just be like, oh, he said a keyword, that's gangster rap. Oh, he said...
The problem in, Torian, the problem in art today is that artists are not, they don't feel like that art is important anymore. So it's a shortcut. It's more money than art. And when we dealing with we're dealing with a generation that we can't blame the generation, because the generation is not rooted in music like we were. You know what I'm saying? So when you dealing with a whole bunch of art creators who don't care for the art but care for the money, then we're getting a lot of watered down art. The average art today is probably only is probably 95% diluted, because they're not trying to be their self or bring something new to the table. They're just trying to recreate what's already out there to get people to fuck with them.
Positive message is conscious rap. Or he said this, that, you know what I mean? So I think that's probably why I try to do that. And I'm inspired by other music than rap, you know? Man, you know what's crazy? I'm not listening to it right now, but it's a song that I bought from Amoeba like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a record I heard on the radio. It was a dude named Goat, Goyte. It was a song called Used to Know. You ever heard that record? Goyte. Yeah, that shit crazy to me. Like, just the songwriting on that, you know? So I'm more like, I don't got genres. I just got like dope songs I like, or dope, like Iris by the Google Dolls, probably one of my favorite written songs in history. What? You gotta hear the words. You know what I'm saying? Like what he's saying and the way that it leads into the hook. That's like people ain't wrote on that level. A lot of people have not wrote songs on that level. You know what I'm realizing too is that people choose you for your opinion in terms of like fans. They don't choose you for any other reason than they think you got a unique perspective. And they count on you to be honest about expressing it. You know what I mean? And I think that to know that give you power as an artist because you just always got to be clear on what your opinion is and what your reality is, and you know where to go. In terms, instead of trying to anticipate where the fans are and trying to aim what you doing at where they about to be, you just know where you at, and you know they bought into your opinion. And so, like for me, that's the reality of who I am. I'm influenced by things that happened in my life that was like that God had to be God. You know what I'm saying? It's nowhere else. So I can't feel ashamed of that. I can't like leave that off the music or leave that out the story because then it's not as honest as it could be. You know, and then I gotta check myself on why I'm not speaking on it, why I don't include the real thought. Not to say I would say it if I didn't really have them thoughts, because people like spiritual shit or feel like this is positive. No, that's them is thoughts I really had. I'm a Leo, I'm a fire sign, but then even I spoke to that. I said, feel the fire, it's a different flame. That was one of the lyrics on the album.
Meaning that Nipsey was conscious of his zodiac. So for everybody that doesn't, I talked to a lot of people, meaning that when they say, the Bible say, know thyself, the Quran, they all say it, know yourself. Nipsey already at a young age was already looking into, he knew he was a Leo. And so being a Leo, the sun is a certain sign that it said in his zodiac chart that he has the ability to fix a bedeviling problem in his society. And we seen it happen. That's what it, look it up. August 17th, look up the zodiac, the Egyptian zodiac, or look up the zodiac for August 17th and watch what it say. And it's going and everything it says is going to define Nipsey Hussle. It was written already. So for everybody that don't believe in this, in the zodiac, you should do more research. You know what I'm saying? So he's letting you know that he's aware of his sign and the knowledge itself.
And you know, I think like all of this is an accumulation of what I learned. Honestly, I didn't have no opinion until I started working with music and trying shit. And what I like, music is spiritual. Anybody that fuck with music long enough, you know, if you don't cloud yourself and you don't like miss it, you're gonna realize it's spiritual. You can miss it though, you know what I mean? But if you in tune and you present enough, you're gonna be like, it's vibrations, it's the word. If you even read the Bible, in the beginning, it was the word. That's the first thing that the Bible say. You know what I mean? So the power of the word is intense, it's real. So to try to make music and separate it from a spiritual thing, I don't think it's possible. I don't even think that, you know, the actual act of music. Think about this. You going somewhere mentally and you bringing something back that people that aren't where you just went can hear in the place that you both are. Like you go somewhere when you go pull a lyric down. Where is it at? Where does it exist? You know what I'm saying? And then you say it and with your voice, and now everybody can hear it. So that's, what is that? But it was a...
I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. I miss this nigga, bro. Because if you are a creator or trying to do something in life, he moved all of those them doors out your way. You know what I'm saying? And I think anybody who's a real creator know that. So even for me and my growth, I listen to Nipsey all the time, like every interview. I always was like that before he passed. And one of the things was, if you're really out here chasing, it's a lot of these conversations that Nipsey had where this was one of the most powerful brothers of our lifetime.
The truth that existed in everybody's space. You just went and like brought it down to the level that we communicate on. You know what I'm saying? So that's spiritual. Even producers make music. Where does the music exist at? They hear A, B, C. Where does that, until they play it, they bringing it down to our level of experience, but it exists already because they heard it. So to think it's not spiritual, I think is being like, you're not thinking about it long enough. You know what I'm saying? You just, you go into the next thought so quick that you don't get a chance to really sit here and evaluate what you're doing. As a human, I'm competitive as, you know, rap is competitive, like an athlete. You know what I mean? You don't want to be number 2 by design. You ain't gonna cry if you don't win the championship. You gonna go harder in the gym. But what I know about life is that you gonna hurt yourself. You know, life is, especially as a creative, creativity and competition is opposites. You know what I'm saying? And they work against each other creatively. When you have to draw from a blank canvas, you gotta draw from your pool of experiences for it to have that thing in it. And you can compete and make something that's like technically good, but it's like a cloned human being. They might have 2 legs, but it's not the same as a baby that was born from a mama and daddy and it was some love made, and that's a different formula. So I think that to create is like a natural labor, and then to...
He compared his creation, the way he compared how he seen art, this is all knowledge of self and history. He compared it to, like, you know, artists that's like, you can compete basically. Like when we go into the studio, I could be looking at what's popular and make records like it. But it's like a body with no soul, because you really just embodying something else. But like he said, like a baby made, when you say art being a baby that's made in a lab and a baby that's made from love and 2 people that was in love with each other, and you know what I mean? It's completely different. And that's how you got to see your art.
Copy or to like compare or compete creatively, you confuse yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you miss all the dope shit that only you can do. It's shit only Nip can say certain lines. It's a song that only I can write.
Like Picture Me Rolling. I'm gonna give you an example. Picture Me Rolling. You know what I'm saying? He say a lot of statements, and I use Nip as an example in this. Only Nip can say certain shit, and that shit will sound hot. Only T.I. with his accent can say certain shit. So everybody, you have your own unique vocabulary. Mozzie, we have our own unique vocabulary. That's how I say shit. You know what I'm saying? That nigga said, trying to duck from the rollers. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain words that Nipsey say, it just be like, yo, that shit fire. But only Nip could say it. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's only true to me. Now, it's true to everybody in the world if it's true, because we all got the same general truths. But the specifics of it, them is the songs I need to write. And those is where I'm going to really succeed. And I think I heard Ross say some real shit. He's like, man, I want every penny that's mine. I don't want a penny more or a penny less. And that's a good way to look at it. You know, I don't want any shine, success that ain't mine. You know what I'm saying? I just want all of mine. So I think that's going to put you in the mindset of, you know, filtering yourself and challenging yourself.
Need a freelancer? Go to Fiverr.com and find one in seconds. Or don't go to Fiverr and waste your time searching for...
Let me go back a little bit at that commercial.
And challenging yourself. And honestly, you know, I don't think we get extra credit for that. That's what we supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we like rap, we a part of this shit. We can't, I don't think that's cool to be so blinded by being competitive that you can't, like, this shit tight, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is a dope record.
But that's what the problem is in hip-hop everywhere. In the world, in the industry, locally, every state, every borough, you know what I'm saying? Amongst niggas in their own label, a lot of the times. You know what I'm saying? The atmosphere for this music, especially with our people, is such a fuck. One of the things that make the business so bad is, it's like people are afraid to tell somebody like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like, this is how they think. In the future, if I get into it, what he gonna come and say on the record, like, yo, you came to me and was da-da-da-da-da-da, or they gonna express it. At the end of the day, I make sure when I meet artists, especially younger artists, that I tell them what I think about their art, you know what I'm saying, and give them their kudos now, because I understand that when I was younger, we in this tunnel, and we got an idea what's hot, but we need people to come and tell us, like, look, man, blah, 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 this fire, stay in that lane. I like that. Like, fuck with it, da-da-da. We need that. You know what I'm saying? So I go out my way to say what I say, and as my nigga Bars, who album dropped today, check out Bars' album, man, Bars of Mania. He was like, bro, I was at the lab at a shot, and he heard me saying it to another artist, and he was like, bro, you don't know what the fuck artists be going through. You don't know how, if they depressed or not. He was like, you'll walk in the room and tell them some joint, And I never thought about it that way, but he was telling me like, yo, when you going to people, giving them, letting them know how you feel as an artist and people respect you, you could make their day. You don't know if they about to quit. You know what I'm saying? So it's real.
We are inspired by rap music. Even if somebody the same age as you, younger than you, that's weirdo shit to me, that you can't acknowledge, like, you made a dope record, bro. This shit is tight, and I ain't, whatever the reasons why I wouldn't say that, I don't believe in them reasons. Nah, the energy of that song, I wanted the visual to represent the energy of it. And the energy is just really aggressive, it's high energy, it's confident, it's like a boast almost. And also I look at that more than a single, it's like, you know, I think in branding, it's about distinguishing qualities. It's not about what you got in common. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at anybody, I think in branding, it's about distinguishing qualities. It's not about what you got in common. The boast almost. And also I look at that more than a single, it's like, you know, I think in branding, it's about distinguishing qualities. It's not about what you got in common. You know what I mean? Like,
message.
If you look at anybody, any brand or company's tagline, they line expresses their unique qualities, the distinguishing qualities. The world's only this, the world's number one this, the world's first, the distinguishing quality. So as an artist and a rapper, rap niggas is my distinguishing quality, that I do own all the rights to all my raps. You know what I'm saying? I am a anomaly in my space. To me, if you know the details, you know, and the way I exist is unique. And so I think that the most effective branding will be the first record off the album. I'm shouting out what's different about me. You know what I'm saying? And I want the visual to represent that too. I just want the project to be heard on the highest level. You know what I'm saying? Of course, big numbers mean you get a big check, but I just want, this is why I went into the partnership, and this is why I held out for so long. I wanted to be able to make an artistic statement on the highest level. And I love doing interviews about music, so thank y'all for being like in tune and asking like dope questions about music, you know what I'm saying?
Facto. Jewels for you. I figured that I think in my format, I'll add inspiration in, because we all need it, especially early in the morning, to get us going. Because sometimes it just take a word or two from the right person and your whole day change. So that was my inspiration. Real quick, check this out. My boy, this shit funny. I know I was selling, like he said, give people their props. Homeboy Bars of Mania. You know what I'm saying? Check him out. His album drops today. Let me show y'all this joint right here. Check him out. Give y'all a quick peek of this.
I hope I catch the light. Almost lost my dreams, it was out of sight. All them lonely days and all them lonely nights. I told her one day that we gon' make it right. All this hard work I had to sacrifice. I can't see you niggas, I just see the commas. Free my nigga Spank, free my nigga Drama. I really know his kids, I really know his mama. And when it get lit, I know where to find them. Smoking all this weed.
Bars dope as hell. Check him out, y'all. So just let you know, man, give everybody credit. Check him out, named Bars of Mania. Back Like I Never Left 2 is the tape. Let's get it. We're going to tap in and get to this history. Let's get it.
I discovered something and I thought I'd be selfish to keep it to myself, so I wanted to share it with you guys. It's called Moon Magic Jewelry. Apart from many factors that I love, there's 3 that I just adore.
And I tell people, for all my followers, because I got a lot of followers who not, you know, so-called as we call black or whatever, always remember, I do this, my history, this history. We got to all learn that history is history, and that when I'm building, the same way how I'm going to respect you when you go back, regardless if you Italian, European, French, Australian, and when you go back to educate your people, I'm going to respect you. I only ask for the same. I love everybody.
If your conscience ain't awakened, you heard about.
All right? Once you convince
they have to set up a separate date.
These niggas got the music
For
on the other side.
You never get sentenced there. Under the old...
Hold on, y'all. You know that video. See what they be having, these messed up videos. Let's go to the next one.
That particular thing he is, that's also a government conspiracy. But going back, Christ mastering the Satan is talking about throwing off of the physical body. You see, these are metaphysical terminologies. The god Heru or Horus predates Jesus by 10,000 years. Heru in Gnosticism is called Jehu, J-E-H-U, Jehu, a Jehu. So if you go to 2 Kings, in the Bible they say that Elijah will anoint Jehu, J-E-H-U, king of all Israel. It's right in there. That's called Heru. Right in the Bible. Isaiah 45 says, I will give you the treasures of darkness. Well, how can treasures be dark? What are they talking about? The treasures of darkness is melanin. Melanin is the treasures of darkness. I used to read this particular thing in one of my lectures a couple of years ago, see if I can find this thing. Let's see. Work for this disorganized power and stuff in the chaos field. And I used to read this thing in my lectures years ago. And got a couple other things I want to deal with also too in a few minutes.
Let me know if y'all can hear this, man. They really be destroying these videos.
When it talked about it talked about we'll pull that out, we'll pull a couple things. Y'all alright? Yeah, I want to get to the bottom of some of this stuff here, you see what I'm saying? The bottom of some of this so you can understand that in actuality, the only person that's coming for you is your own damn self. If you don't get that, you see, that's what this whole concept is. And the white law understands, as long as you're taking your energy and putting it on another deity, other than yourself, he don't fear you. You see what I'm saying? He don't fear you. And, you know. Let's see what the other thing. But let me see what it is. 1 minute. And what this thing is talking about here.
Joel, what up, bro?
To the melanin aspect of this. Yeah, let's see, ultimate mystery. Bear with me 1 minute. Yeah, human beings cannot only, but must be born again and led back into the primal material. Whenever you hear the word primal material, that's melanin. That's an alchemical thing called primal material, and that's called, that's melanin. Anytime you hear that word. The primal material, or out of which came forth according to his astral nature, that's melanin. Before the Son of Man could be exalted, he must be humble. And before he can ascend to heaven, he must walk 3 days in hell, through hell. It is the condition of the alchemical blackness, which is melanin, whose central darkness, as replied, though it extends over 3 days and nights, and even through total darkness, lasts for 40 days. Even Jesus remained 40 days in his resurrection before he ascended into heaven. Therefore, you must walk through the gate of darkness if you want to win the light of paradise and light. So the gate of darkness, they do, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Anytime you hear the word shadow, that means melanin. So they say you must walk through the gate of darkness before you ascend. So what they mean here is the ascension takes place with the melanin aspect. With the melanin aspect. So when they say, I will give you the treasures of darkness in Isaiah 45, that's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about here. It also says in Revelation that the ones that were supposed to be risen up or raised up are those who were slain before the foundation of the earth. Well, who was slain? Well, the story goes, who was slain before the foundation of the earth? Wasn't it Satan cast and bound, or the Titan slain in one story before the foundation of the earth? So they said that the ones that's supposed to rise up are the ones that were slain before the foundation of the earth. You see what I'm saying? So.
Right, you see how loud that is, right? So that I'm showing you how these videos I be bringing y'all, some of them so old.
That's talking about us. Now, what does the story go? We were on a spiritual level and we were cast into a physical body. In so many words, are you on that? Oh, you good to go? Okay, you doing your thing, okay. So in so many words, what that means is, as the vibratory rate slowed down, we took on these physical bodies. And as a result, we started thinking that these physical bodies was us. That's the whole matrix thing. So there were those who were slain by the foundation of the earth. That was us, who was advanced beings and took on a physical body and started thinking that the physical body was us, and as a result, our souls went to sleep or died. Now, so Jesus died to save us all. This was a great mystery that needs to be broken. Because he died for your sins. Well, goddamn it, I might as well go out here and get my fucking freak on. That's a contradiction. He died for your sins. You know, they say because God was going to kill the whole earth, right? That wouldn't have been a bad idea. Being that ever since Christianity been in thing, we've been fucking suffering. Now, what's the whole deal? Jesus died to save, Jesus died on the cross. What does that mean? When we fell into the physical realm, we died when we fell into the physical body. Well, no, Jesus died on the cross. If you take your hands and do this and pull them out like this, that's the cross. Jesus died on the cross as the soul dying or falling asleep in the physical body. That's the great mystery. But when did we die on the physical cross? On the cross. We died on the cross when we first came into physical existence. Before the foundation of the earth. And we were born into sin. The word sin also means restriction, a restricted physical body. The physical body is that which is sin, which is no different than skin. The origin of skin and the origin of sin comes from the word skin. The word hell comes from the word shell, a shield or shell. And this is the physical shell, which is the hell. You see, these are mysteries and all. So Jesus died to save us all. When your soul fell into the physical.
Meaning that you're a prisoner to your body, right? And if you think about it, in this existence, we in hell, in some sense, we in prison. And you're not free until you leave this body. But the way we taught to look at death is a lot different.
You died. Well, what souls fell into the physical? What souls was cast out of heaven and fell into the physical? Was it Satan? The word Satan comes from the word Seton. It also comes from the word Titan, which is Titans were turned into men. So this is the connection. In the book Alexander Hislop's book, The Two Babylons, Alexander Hislop's books, The Two Babylons, they talk about Titan, Satan. And 666 means Titan, Satan. Which means man, because the Titans were turned into men. You see what I'm saying? So these are the mysteries on how you can't break the damn code. Because you are looking at the moralistic aspect that is used to teach the people how to behave, and not necessarily the esoteric aspect of those particular things. You see what I'm saying? So the physical body is the cross. They say bear your own cross. Well, goddamn, you bear your own cross when you gotta eat and shit and piss and all other things you gotta do to keep this shit going. That's what bearing your own cross is. You see what I'm saying? So the human dwellers, as it says in Alvin Boyd Q's book, the pit of hell, the fiery furnace, and the pit of hell, and the human dwellers of hell, the dwellers of hell are nothing but we humans on earth. It also says we scurrying mortals that is talked about in the ancient scriptures of the dead, the death, and all of that type of stuff, are nothing but us humans. We are the dead. We humans are the dead. Osiris died in the mummy. The mummy is the physical body. You see, these are esoteric things we need to put on the tape to go through these things so people can understand. The Red Sea is your blood vessels. If you turn your back over and they strip You ever see with the anatomy picture where they take the skin off the back and you see the blood vessels coming into the spinal column? Well, the Red Sea is your blood vessels. Moses parted the Red Sea. The staff of Tahuti is the spinal column you see in the medical association. Moses, the staff of Moses was the staff of Tahuti, which is later on the medical association symbol. And so the Moses parted the Red Sea. The spinal column, a spinal column has a fiery energy that rises up the spinal column called the serpentine fire. And it parts the blood vessels and goes up to the spinal column and goes up to the pineal gland. And the Jews are the jewels which were in bondage, your jewels in the lower gastrointestinal tract, in your anus, in your root chakra, is where the soul is. The soul, your soul is a little particle of light in the lower gastrointestinal tract. This book here, which is the book, they fought hard. This guy had 9. Huh? No, it's more than the solar plexus up here. No, the soul is down here in the lower gastrointestinal tract, in your root chakra. That's your spleen chakra in something. It's in your root chakra. In the gastrointestinal tract is where your soul is. Your soul, you hear Jesus born in a manger. A manger is full of shit. Dung. That means that your soul is down in the lower abdomen. Here's a book that was, they fought a guy named Kenneth Grant they've been dealing with for years. They fought hard to keep a lot of his works.
Why you think that they say that the Illuminati rape a lot of the men in the secret societies? Or think about it. And because what he's saying, to break it down to y'all, is that doing my research, that the soul lies dormant in around the anal area, right? And through your time, if you balance yourself and get in the knowledge and get in tune, that energy that he called the Serpentine Energy, aka the Kundalini Energy, which is represented on the wall as a serpent. That's why they had the serpents on their head. It rises as you become more conscious, and then it activates. It goes up the spine into the brain, and that's when he's saying that these words are actually, like I told you, our ancestors were so intelligent. They were doing surgery, and you was thinking they were saying stories. So they would tell a story about, let's say they were trying to do surgery on the spine. They would think about a story like that about Moses, and they'll say he parted the Red Sea. So they'll know that they need to go through the red blood vessels and free the Jews. And the Jews, that might be the pineal gland. So they know to move something out the way so that the blood can flow into the pineal gland and activate it in case they're doing like surgery on the spine or surgery on the brain. So they would use these simple stories to remind them during surgeries or during these complex situations what they needed to do. But the soul being in the anus area, but that's when a person is asleep. That's also, you could say it's that area, but it's also the same area that your sexual organs are in. So it's like in between the anal area and in between your sexual organs. That's where the soul lies. So if all you do is live and have sex all day, that's where your existence is going to be. You're going to be controlled by your sexual temptation. You know what I mean? And so you got multiple, if you see it's like 13 chakras, but that chakra, they say where the sleeping man today is, it sits there, and it's only there. They've never elevated it to any. Their soul sits in one chakra, but the other chakras have not even been activated because the mind isn't in the right place. Is what he's saying. So when you become conscious and start to learn and start to grow, that energy rises, and that's where the spiritual awakening happens.
He's looking in America and wrote this book called Polaria. R.H.W.H. Mueller. W.H. Mueller, M-U-L-L-E-R, he had a slick in this book called Polaria, which is probably, it's a study in itself. So this book here is probably one of the baddest books on the planet because these white boys fought hard to shut down his work, and he had to sneak everything under another pen name and sneak into Albuquerque, New Mexico, and do it. W.H. Mueller, M-U-L-L-E-R, and the book is called Polaria, Gift of the White Stone. And in here, it talks about the lower abdomen is where the soul is. The seed is in the lower abdomen. That's where your soul is. Jesus told, so you have Satan is in hell, which is torturous, are trapped in hell. So now, your soul is trapped down in your lower gastrointestinal tract. And when it rises up spiritually, it parts the Red Sea, your blood vessels, because it rises up with the Kundalini energy. Moses parted the Red Sea and rises up to your first eye, your third eye, or your first eye called the pineal gland. So the jewels are the Jews, which is the jewels, which is just talking about your souls being trapped in bondage in the lower abdomen. Rises up through the Kundalini energy to the pineal gland, and when it comes to the pineal gland, that's the promised land called Heru, which is the Christ, Egyptian Christ, Heru Salam, harvest in peace. Salam, also you get the word mausoleum, which is a house. You get the word Jerusalem, Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is Jerusalem, which is the pineal gland. That's where Jerusalem is. That's the promised land. Y'all getting this? So Jerusalem, harvest in peace. The Christ in peace. When your soul rises up to the pineal gland, you become illuminated. And you are in peace. So you are trapped in hell, or you are trapped in bondage. And Moses parted the Red Sea, which is your Kundalini energy rising up and freeing the jewels of the Jews into Jerusalem. This is a story of your soul rising to another level. You see? Now, so Moses lifts up serpents in the wilderness. That's in the Bible. Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. That's the Kundalini energy, because the staff of Moses is the staff of Tahuti. None of these people were historical people. Moses, you get Abraham and all those motherfuckers. That was never historical. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These are different aspects of the human body. The word Abraham, you go to India, you get the word Brahma. You go to India and you go to Egypt, you get the word Amun-Ra. Now take them goddamn three words, Abraham, Brahma, and Amun-Ra, and descramble them shits. And you get the same damn thing. The great Father, God. So the children of Abraham, you see what I'm saying? These are not historical people. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is two components of the same thing. Jacob and Osiris is the same thing. Jacob's ladder. The Kundalini energy is Jacob's ladder. And Jacob wrestled with the angel all night. And at the end of the night, in daybreak, what happened? He saw the face of God, which was called what? Pineal.
Pineal. Right? So did he seen the face of God, Pineal. So did Ezekiel when he seen the will. He said that he met God in the city of Pineal.
Anybody? The face of God is called Pineal, which is Horus, the Christ. The Christ is called the Great Face. Or Horus is the hero is called the Great Face. So Jacob wrestled with the angel all night. The angel of what? Death. Melanin. Melanin. Melanin is a dirt substance that is something that was left behind when the Titans died. We died when we used to be these gods used to rule the universe. When we died, we were burnt to ashes. The ashes that was left behind is melanin. So when you hear the angel of the shadow of death or the angel of death is melanin, a pre-creation substance. So Jacob wrestled with the angel of death. And when he rose till daybreak, that means some light was coming on. And at daybreak, he saw the face of God, which was what? Pineal. So this is the process of the soul going through the darkness of the valley of the shadow of death. Where's the valley of the shadow of death? The valley is also the Kundalini spinal column, and a valley is where you rise up. I shall feel no evil. Because the Kundalini and all the melanin is throughout the whole what? Central nervous system. You see? Central nervous system. They got you stuck in religion. Not you. You still worrying about there were certain things for Sunday school. And then when you get to a certain level, you're supposed to graduate to another level. But we're grown people still in Sunday school. So we're not telling you to throw out your Bible or your Quran or any other thing, because you'll throw out the baby with the bathwater. We're trying to tell you here to grow up and try to find the real story. I can go through the same goddamn Bible and teach you the same shit on the esoteric level. You see what I'm saying? Now what you gonna do now? Because we teaching the Bible. But you can't fuck around and say, well, that nigga, that's dealing with some other shit, and I believe in the Bible. I'm a Christian. But what you gonna do now? Because I'm rolling the damn Christian shit on you. You fuck now. You fuck. Because now I'm going right through your shit and showing you the esoteric thing. But we never grew up because why? We got the children teaching us. The damn white man is the last motherfucker come on earth. And the only way he can get this particular information is he had to learn how to behave. So they say, this is a savage who don't know how to behave. So they had to incorporate moral behavior into actual teaching. But that wasn't meant for us. Why they said he had to learn how to behave? Look what that motherfucker did with the Bible. Can you imagine if he didn't have a moral code? We'd all be dead. You see what I'm saying? If this motherfucker gave us all his hell with the Bible, you see what I'm saying? But that was meant for him. That was meant for a savage Arab. You see what I'm saying? So that's the story. So the body of Jacob's ladder, that's the physical body, or that's the Kundalini Energy. Solomon. You get Solomon, you get Osiris, and Amun-Ra. So when all three the same thing. Solomon wasn't no real person. Solomon's the wisest man that ever lived. You know, we got grown-ass motherfucking people quoting this dumb shit. We got knowledge that we can't even recover no fucking more. Knowledge is lost, but one motherfucking man that came after the damn knowledge was invented with the Christians came late. He's the wisest man ever lived. Solomon is Osiris. You know, there's stories of Solomon. Solomon is the judgments of Solomon, the kingdom of Solomon. There's the judgments of Osiris, the kingdom of Osiris. You just taking, it's the same story we told throughout history. You see. But all of a sudden we got this exclusive shit. These people are more holy than the Egyptians or any other African that ever lived. Okay?
You gotta understand, bro, when you dealing, I tell everybody, when you come to my convos, you gotta have an empty cup of water. Because most of the things that we would all naturally, which is okay, because that's the point of these convos, it's gonna rattle you a little bit, right? And you have the right to disagree, so I'm not here to argue with that, you know what I'm saying? Because things people say will tear away at people's foundation, and I learned that at time. When we say esoteric and esoteric is like what you get out of when we go to like religious places, church, the Quran, the mosque, you know. And then your exoteric, which is like the exoskeleton, which is the outer shell of things. He specializes in decoding the outer shell. Like we get the inner shell, but we never get the outer shell, which our ancestors taught in stages. So basically, what religion gave us was the beginning stages of what we were supposed to learn. But they never gave us fruition, which was like they were supposed to teach us these stories. The stories we learned was stories for kids, is what he's saying. But then when we grew up, they were supposed to give us fruition. The only people that have fruition is the pastors, the imams, the rabbis. They don't give the people fruition, which is the keys to freeing themselves, because then the people don't need you no more. They stop going to the church. They stop buying in. So you got to understand that it's just information. Now remember, I don't know what you believe, but if, like I tell people, if you're Christian, the Bible states, it says, yo, get all information from all corners of the earth. It's the church that says that only believe the Bible. So you got to always open your mind. I don't say believe what you hear, but you need to take it in and sit with it and think about it. And if certain things going to bother you, go look it up, research it, dig into it. That's the only true way.
Okay, so Solomon, the temple of Solomon. The temple of Solomon is the temple of Osiris, and Osiris is the god of the perfect black. So the temple of Solomon is the physical body, the black body.
And to be real, like none of the bodies biblically or have ever been found. Like, and they've been digging for a long time. So we do have to ask these questions. We got to get away from what we believe into what what was facts. Our ancestors didn't believe; they were scientists. They only believed what they could prove.
Well, the master mason builds the temple of Solomon. Well, who is the master mason? The only person that can have a damn temple is a goddamn woman, who is the only master mason. You see what I'm saying? Who is the only master mason? You see what I'm saying? How many masons up in here? Any masons up in here? Anybody ever in the Masonic order? Nobody, you know. You know, you see, so the only master mason is the black woman. You see what I'm saying? Who has the physical body. You see what I'm saying? So that's the master.
Reason why the black woman is the master mason, the only master mason, is because men, we can create pyramids and do all these great works, but she is the only one who can create without any tools. And her creations walk around and talk and think.
But Solomon Temple is the body of Osiris. You see, breaking this stuff on down. Oh yeah, I'm black and told me, which is the Solomon, you know, which is the Solomon Temple. So Moses raised the serpents in the wilderness. That's the Kundalini energy. Because Moses is not a physical person. You see, Moses is not a physical person. Moses is the feminine counterpart of the Kundalini energy engine that frees the souls from bondage. And frees the souls from bondage and stuff. But you got crackers down in Mississippi picking up rattlesnakes and getting bit and shit. You seen this shit on TV? Picking up damn rattlesnakes. Got a pit full of rattlesnakes. Moses raised up the serpent, so you must raise up the serpents as a testament of your faith. And it's talking about the Kundalini energy inside of you, which is a feminine energy, which leads us to the other aspect of things, which is the feminine energy is this here. The feminine energy is, if the Kundalini energy is inside of us, is the feminine energy. Then that means there's really no such thing as male.
Ain't no such thing.
Because the energy inside, that's why the black man is chastised and a victim of sexism like the black woman. He's the only male that's a victim of sexism because when the white man looks at him, he feels inferior based on your sexuality. You see what I'm saying? We're the only people on the earth that is chastised based on sexism, the black male, because of the inferiority of xenophobia of the white man. You see what I'm saying? So the Kundalini energy in us is a feminine energy. But guess what? Guess what Satan is that you all scared about? Satan is nothing but the Kundalini energy, dude. Whole concept of the serpent, the fire, everything that is attributed to the devil is the Kundalini energy inside of us, which is also the sexual energy. Very key. The Shakti power. That's the reason why they don't want you listening to no songs. That's the reason why they got your man marrying a white woman. You see what I'm saying? And trying to get you to marry the white man. That's the reason why that's happening, because they're trying to keep the sexual energy down on the planet, which is the Kundalini energy, which is the heaven's gate. We'll go into that in a few minutes when we'll go back in that in a few minutes. I want to get some more of these things just to go through this thing again. Y'all all right? Yeah. All right. Okay. Our God is an all-consuming fire. Here it goes again, the Kundalini energy. But the Kundalini energy is in you. So it ain't like you're going to be judged, you the motherfucker going to judge. In the book of Enoch, they say, the one that's ruling the planet that is the doggone intruder. What's an intruder? An intruder is a person that wasn't there in the beginning and now is intruding, masquerading as being human. A human artificial. They say the intruder will be annihilated, but they say they're going to turn the wicked over to the elect. In the Ethiopian book of Enoch, they say that the elect is you. You the motherfucker going to kill the people on the planet. Not somebody from the outside. That's why they fear you. They don't fear nothing out in space. They're trying to hold you down. Because your energy is the one that's going to do the judgment. You see, that's in the book of Enoch. They say the book of Enoch, they say we're going to turn the wicked over to the elect. You are the elect. And they say you're going to be the judge. That's why you sitting up here waiting on somebody to judge you. You're the only judge there is. You're the one that's going to be the killers. That's why your children are already stuck in that goddamn town now. You see what I'm saying? On one aspect, there's some crazy shit that's going on, them killing each other or whatever. That's some government and do stuff. But then again, on the other hand, they couldn't have done it if that damn generation was a no.
Need a freelancer? Go to Fiverr.com and find one in seconds. Don't go to Fiverr and waste your time searching for freelancers.
Generation. See what I'm saying? And you can tell based on the audacity of the 1 and 2 year olds. You be like, God damn. These motherfuckers is thinking of shit that I didn't think about until I was 20. Motherfuckers got this shit at 1 and 2. That's because that's a new spirit. It's a new spirit I will put in you. Now the kids are coming back. They're actually grown people. That's why you should. They said that you can learn. You can have them teach you some shit. To give you an example, I got a little boy. My brother has a little boy that was born in 1997, so he's about 5 now. This little boy is really one of them 6th sense children. He's real spiritual. And my brother was sitting there playing the damn Fantasy 5. That's like that 5-digit number. That's like $100,000 or something. What is it? 500,000. You got the lottery up here, don't you?
Yeah.
That 5-digit.
You're getting the Powerball.
Huh?
You're getting the Powerball.
Yeah, the cash 5. What is that though? How much you get for that shit?
A lot of money. It depends.
About 100,000 or something?
You can.
Anyway, it's about 100,000 bucks if you hit all the numbers. So he's gonna tell a little baby. I think he was 2 at the time, or 3. He said, pick the number. Pick out 5 numbers. The little boy went and drew out 5 little numbers. And he was playing every night. This side, he didn't get up to go play, and the damn Fantasy 5 came on. And he watched all 5 fucking numbers drop and start crying like a bitch. Start crying. You see what I'm saying? So, we're talking about entities. We're talking about children now that are doing things that facetious, condescending. I've seen some little girls, and I look around, and little girls running the damn household, and they're like 2 and 3. I'm like, this motherfucker running the house. You see what I'm saying? So, you got some...
My daughter, yo, since she been 1, she the youngest. Her brothers is way older than her. She's 7, 114, 111. She still run the house.
So obviously it's another kind of entity that's coming back in these damn children. They say and do things.
Should I say they room?
You see what I'm saying? That you didn't do when you was grown. And we're not talking about a child that's like in his 8 and 9 that done got grown like that. We're talking about infants down there. You see what I'm saying? Just patronizing your ass. You see, that kind of thing here. So that kind of thing here. So we're talking about a return of the ancient one, and that's what they talk about in the book of Enoch, by R.H. Charles' book, Ethiopian Book of Enoch. And they talk about they're going to turn these people over to us to be destroyed. Okay. Let's see a couple other things here. So with the exodus from bondage into freedom or into Jerusalem, that's the exodus of the souls coming from a mentor, which is, number 1, that is the earth, and number 2, that's the deepest part of the subconscious mind and the lowest part of the body, which is your soul is trapped into, here it goes again, the lower aspects of the actual body. And now, so also in bondage, hell is also the root chakra also. Now, you even get this thing, go down to the depths of the ravenous dragon and recover the pearl that resides there. Then here goes again, the ravenous dragon is in the physiological aspect, that's your intestines, the dragon. The pearl is your soul is up under the intestines. These are also things you see also in the what you call it, the son of man in the west. Here goes again. I'll start off at the beginning of the lecture. They talk about the sun starting in the east or something. The son of man will rise up in the west or something in the Bible. The son of man is the son in man. And they're talking about the ones in the West. As they talk about also in the Hermetic text, when they talk about it's a group of people in the West. Well, you say, well, how do we know it's you? How do we know it's us? Well, the only thing you got to understand here is, who else can it be? Nobody else on the Africans can be because they are not privy to the knowledge. You see what I'm saying? The Caribbean, well, hell, they're all mixed in with us. Especially up north. So you're still talking about the people in the West. And you're talking about the people here in America. And why? Because we're the ones going through the knowledge and the information in the last days. Other people, including our people, are just trying to get along with the white man. You see what I'm saying? So we know that it's us, and it's not us in the future. It ain't your children, it's you. Otherwise, it would have came to your damn children. And we understand that this knowledge is dwindled down to just us folks. So the masses are not getting it. And it's not secured enough other than us to get it. That means this shit is going down now. And because they marching in, which you're going to get into in a minute, this war and all this stuff is going on now. They blew up the World Trade Center and all that stuff now. The doggone government. All that stuff is going down now. They're trying to get the interferon also to save themselves from the spiritual attack that we get ready to put on now. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's what this thing is about. So the Son of Man in the West, that is us. Lucifer, the light bringer. Lucifer, just light bringer, just means the pineal gland. The pineal gland. Lucifer and Jesus was in the Bible equal until the Conference of Nicaea. They had to take the word Lucifer out to like 2 times. To get rid of that, because you would understand that Lucifer and Jesus is the same. Or they say Lucifer rose just like rose as the morning star.
Yes, yes.
But in Revelation, Jesus said, I'm the morning star.
Exactly. Yes.
It's the same polarities of the same thing. That's what this book is talking about, polarity. Satan represents melanin, the dark side of the soul. Jesus represents the yin and the yang. Jesus represents the light from melanin. It's all composites of the same coin. Called Janus or Janus, the dual-headed figure. You'll see 2 double eagles in the Masonic thing and all. That's a symbol of the Christ. Satan and Lucifer's one in the damn same. You flip the coin. But if you see in the dark, if you see the yin and yang symbol in the dark side, you'll see a little piece of light. But on the light side, you see a little piece of darkness. It's one and the same. 2 polarities of the same head.
That's some Harry Potter shit. But that's what Harry Potter's about.
Battling for supremacy. That which is in the dark will come to the light. The only way light can be produced is through the dark. Light cannot produce light. Light can only burn out. The light that burns the bright burns the least. That which is light. So they say the kingdom of light. So that means that there can be no kingdom of heaven. But they say here that Jesus is supposed to found the kingdom. So where the fuck are you going when you die? If Jesus is supposed to come to find the kingdom, which is not but your soul, there can't be no kingdom out there. But any light that you have is on its way out. That means that the only thing that can produce light is what? Darkness. That's why your soul is in darkness. You see? The metaphysical aspect. That's the only way you can produce light. So that's why when they blew up the World Trade Center, they said, stay away from the dark side. Now what the fuck does the dark side have to do with the damn World Trade Center? And why the hell all people got them giving blood and going to the preachers? When they ain't had a motherfucker living after Wednesday. Now I got trapped up there in that shit, and one of the sisters that was the sister Kimberly was one of my chief sidekicks. I had to go out to Long Island so we could smoke our ass out of New York. Because they was looking for me to get out of New York. Her sister was a nurse. And her sister came home. I said, man, you're going to be busy as hell tomorrow when you get up there. Because I went to Long Island the night it happened. She said, yeah, man, you might not see me for 2 weeks. Shit, she came back the next day. This was Wednesday, because it happened on Tuesday. She came back on Wednesday. I said, what you doing home? She came back early. She said, ain't nobody there. Ain't got nobody's coming in to the hospital. All the people was dead. But yet they had people give blood All over the country. For what? For what? They didn't have a motherfucker who survived that shit. And they say, give blood, and they say, stay away from the dark side. The hell? What the dark side got to do with this? You see what I'm saying? Because the dark side is the new frontier. That's where the shit is coming from. Jesus rose up from, he had to go into hell. He descended into hell. But though Jesus rose up, to rise, you have to be down. In the definition of the word rise, is you got to be down. You see what I'm saying? You see, so you have to...
Give y'all a little bit of this. Just outside the box thinking. Esoteric. It's called Bobby Hemmit, Esoteric Breakdown of the Bible. Let's go to the next part this morning. Let me see if I can find it. They was really killing me with this one. Let me find if I can another one of them, bro. Give me a second.
Thought through the detached scrutiny of the inner observer is the
And this is called What is Man?
Barometer of higher consciousness, concentration, and focus. Beloved brothers and sisters, the quality of a man's thoughts are directly linked to the qualities of his biochemistry. The quality of a man's thoughts are directly linked to the qualities of his biochemistry. His thoughts, if he is not observant, will fall victim to the dictates of his appetites that would have invaded his chemistries. A man's appetites will dictate his thinking if he lets it, and his thinking will therefore then dictate his actions. Thus, it is through the path that leads to the realm of thought, and at the portal of thought, observing the realms beyond without judgment, that a man attains a genuine perception of his humankind. Now, there are those who claim that we should meditate upon ourselves as sexless balls of light, beyond agenda and beyond space and time. Oh, really? Then what is the point of taking a body in the first place?
Thank you.
When you are in the spirit body, do you go into meditation to experience what it's like to have a body? No, life and living in your body is the meditation. If you possess a masculine body, that was your choice of experience, your vehicle of perception in the realms of polarity. Your meditation is predicated by the design of the vehicle that you journey through nature with. In your quest for stillness or meditation, you are attempting to use the molecular agreement of the male principle to inculcate the universal spiritual intent through that still point to give you the maximum experience you could have as a body vehicle in life. This is the answers, and this is how you answer the questions such as A, what does the chemistry of polarity known as man supposed to do with his containment? B, what is the primary mandate for the chemical biochip known as testosterone? The reasons for such questions at this point is because in part 2 of our evening together, I wish we had a fireplace or something and I'd be saying it to you by the fire. The reasons for such questions at this point is because in part 2 of our evening together, you will see that today there are no clear markers or socio-cultural parameters to define a man, except that he is an instigator of violence, abuse, mayhem, brutality, ineptitude, selfishness, irresponsibility, lies, and above all, he can't be trusted. Today, a man is being defined and categorized through the estrogenic social lens of the feminist eye. Let me say that again. Today, the man is being defined and categorized through the estrogenic social lens, and that is a perverted estrogenic lens of the feminist eye. Any attempts he makes to reclaim his own persona, any attempts he makes to recapture his own natural giving self-identity, his own nature-given self-identity, is met with vicious retaliation from the feminists who man-jacked it from him since he was a boy. Now, she acts like him and is considered assertive, strong, intelligent, self-assured, a go-getter, independent, confident, all once considered the province of a strong and healthy man. Whenever you hear the description of a woman that she's strong, independent, intelligent, she's a man-jacker. Now, I know the feminists hate the shit out of me because that's the man in them hating me. You see, you don't understand metaphysics, so you don't understand your predicament. Look at relationships today, and I told you about it in The Wounded Womb. If you got an assertive, strong, independent woman, you got a weak man following her. It's automatic. Her man is going to look for a woman in him. Am I wrong? No. I know you've seen it. Huh? He follows along like he got a collar. She's loud, she's assertive, she's the masculine principle. And he's the game. Yes, he's the game. He is the pet. Now, just see that at a mass social level. Understand that that same kind of feminist energy is what the state has become. And all of us are expected to wear a collar. See, feminists hate me because, see, a lot of brothers don't have the metaphysical argument to shut them up. And why they hate me is because I put this shit on tape for them to find the argument. See? Test it up. Come on, think tank. Overstand. With this in mind, as we quest for overstanding on the first stage of the perceptual journey on the path of the virtuous man, I think we should start with a fundamental but all too loaded question. And let us explore this question. Before we can define manhood, my brothers and sisters,
That's it. Get out of the kitchen.
we need to first define what is a man. And here is where I open the floor. Can anyone help me? Good God. With what the definition of a man is, and I'm going to show you exactly where the social construct has taken your mind and your perception. Is anyone first one? Oh, wait a minute. We're amongst the family now. We're in the dark matter think tank. And we are here to explore a question that ain't nobody ever asked. They never asked me. I didn't hear nobody, male or female, ask me, what is a man? Here we are trying to be men. Women kept saying, be a man, goddammit! Brother in the back. See, now we went right to it. Okay? The brother says he, representing his own gender, says that he is an initiate. Initiator. Well, that's where the initiate came from.
I'll add to that. That initiator of positiveness.
Ooh. Okay, we getting all creamy and soft right now. I love it. Yes, he is.
See, he talking this. This is a very. I would say everybody watching this, don't get offended, my queens, when you hear this man talking. We got to be able to sit in the room and hear these masculine men talk about how they feel about challenging the norm to get us back to where we at. Just like how I sit with the women challenge the norm. It's not an attack. It's to challenge the way of thinking, to look at self in the mirror of the reflection of all of us and to ask ourselves. Because in these lectures, you see it's queens in there, and they're enjoying the conversation.
Or it is the positive energy. Now let's just take it away. Now we talking think tank. Are we blacks? No. Are we the dark matter scientists that we're supposed to be? Yes or no, brothers? Yeah. All right, then let's take away. See, you still okay? Okay. Somebody else. Yes, brother, you first.
See, this brother is one of the sons. He's in the gods. Is your earth around? All right. Yes, brother.
Human being.
Okay, a human being, not a human doing, but a human being. Okay, beautiful. Yes. What is a man? Again, we're not talking about woman and collective.
Talking about the entity that has manifested with scrotum and tube and, hard, thick. What is that creature? We analyze him, we only look at what his surface is. What is he? Provider. A builder. Supporter. Whoa. Okay. A ruler and a warrior. Sister. Protector. Yes. Maintainer. Oh, okay. Well, let's hold that aside for a minute.
One who has control of his environment to create balance so that creativity can
brother just opened the door. Go ahead, brother.
I would say a man is all those things that we just
All right. Came back around to the wise one. Now here's what I'm saying to you. Everyone is right and everyone is wrong. I said, okay, what do we do? What is the definition? What are we looking for? What is a man? Okay? First thing, you defined what you thought the man is. Nobody has told me what a man is yet. You say what he does. You say he provides. You say he protects. You say he's a king. These are all job descriptions. Again, I ask the think tank, what is a man? Yes, sir. Me, okay. Self-identity immediately. Part of the atom. Oh, we're getting down to it now. Go ahead. Okay, well, yes. That's now we getting into yes. Okay, go to back. Undefinable. Undefinable, okay. One with a penis. Okay, that gets it close. But you see, that's good because that doesn't deal with function. I like that. That says it right there. We're getting to this core.
A Y chromosome.
A Y chromosome. Come on. Strength. Interesting. Yes. That would be one of the Tai Chi yin dynamics. Strength versus weakness. Very good. Opposite woman. So he is an opposite. Okay, so now you see how you got away? Did you see where we went from? You see what the social mindset did to you when I asked you what a man was? What was the first thing that happened? You started giving him a job description. This is why you fail. See, I'm being Yoda now. This is why you fail. Because my sister and my brother, you have just given the feminist view. A woman looks at you as a function in her life. And you have been relegated to a job description. You will never come together with your man because in your own right you have been trained that he owes you something. And if he isn't doing his job, he can be replaced. Understand that you have been completely bamboozled. Why? Because you have taken on the very dialectic. You have embodied the semantic. Everything in your mind is now going through the rubric of your reactive mind, not your active mind. The social lexicon has saturated you to believe, and you now believe what you have been told. There is no exploration of the man, and that's why this civilization will die. We have done, and we are doing, to the best of their ability, a serious deconstruction of woman, and that's it. And the purveyors of this is now trying to get us to believe that the facts that they're uncovering in their analysis belongs to all of us. So adapt. And the males are saying no. They're saying no subconsciously and in their actions in school when they're boys. I will not conform because this is not correct to me, for me. Understand that you have been living on a description that vacillates according to the one who wrote the script.
Conversation called What is a Man?
The problem is that you live the description not realizing that your definition of yourself actually comes from how the man sees you. Now, let me say this. What's going to happen is we're going to completely turn the thing, and this is not going to be about who's better or who's worse, or who's greater or who's lesser. That's bullshit. The societal lexicon and the way they set it up is competition. Your words are based in competition today. It has nothing to do with analysis. Your thoughts have been colonized. And your thinking now is regimented by a governor. And that governor now has taken up root, and he and she is dictating to your thoughts. Your thoughts now constantly go back to the program that was set right there for them. Man, provider, job, policeman, he provides for me, protects me. He's a doer. The being of man has not yet been explored. And the reason why I say what I say to the sisters is that as the sun, as the direct representative of the sun, you don't see the light of your day until he shines. Now I know that's like, what? How dare you? I'm equal. I'm independent. I can do everything he can do. What does that? That's doing! The problem is that we've been investigating our doer side without investigating the being in the isness. Stop the doing and what you get is the isness, and then being hits you in the face. Pow! Your man is the sun and you reflect the moon. You are the moon. You don't shine by yourself. You can't be independent. Ain't no planet Earth independent from the sun. The universe itself is polygamist and patriarchal. The sun don't go around the earth. And that's what they've been forcing the sun to do. Circumnavigate the earth. That's what feminism has done to the man. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. He's the prodigal son because he hasn't found his father energy yet. And that is his own understanding and intellect, his own knowledge of self. Not what he does, but who and what he is. And now, I ask the question again. What is a man? Do you understand what we just did? No, don't be so quick to put your hands up. See, that's what I'm saying to you. The reactive mind has us bogged down in all the isms, schisms. All the bullshit they want you to believe I am. I'm not that. I'll tell you what I am. When I do what I am, I built pyramids the size of Giza. When I do what I am, I plot the distance between the sun and the earth. When I do what I am, I go into thinking mode and I solve the problems that you have, if I'm allowed to. Who I am is fathomless. I can't be described as the brother said. I can only be experienced. And the only way I can be experienced is if you respect who I am. I am the creator. You are the creatrix, which means that you hold the seed of what I initiate. You are not a creator. This is what that when God was a woman bullshit came out to be.
Right, open eyes.
It does not work like that. That is feminist diatribe to take you off of your center. And I defy any scientist or sociologist or any metaphysician, any new age bastard out there that's going to try me. I want you to try me.
Okay. That's what's up.
The whole equation is wrong. The whole new age system, the whole new age, the CIA and the NSA, to get you to get away from your gender orientation. When you get away from your gender orientation, my beloved brothers, you get away from problem solving. That's what you are. You are a problem solver. That's why the woman is so pissed off with you now, because you ain't solved the present problem. When you can solve the problem of our condition, she will come back to you. Because right now, her nature is to cleave to her provider and her protector. And the feminists turn that into the state. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, as I speak to you today into this incredibly charged cocoon, where after you leave here, you are going to spread your wings as that butterfly. I ask once more of the masters gathered here in the Dark Matter think tank, what is a man? Oh, hold on. He summed it, but that's all right. The sum is fine. We can play with the surfaces of it. See, that's what we've been doing. We've just been playing with surfaces. We've been dealing with onness, not inness. The state teaches superficiality. Your church teaches superficiality. You do not know God. You don't even know who the fuck Jesus is. So how are you going to know who you are? Why do they keep telling you God is there? Agent provocateurs distracting you. God is here. There is no church greater than the human body. There is no Bible greater than the human word spoken organically into the ear of another human being. What is a man?
Spirit in human form, holographic fragment of the divine source of all that is. I am.
Yes, there he comes. And we just scratched the surface. We just dug a little bit deeper into it. Thank you, Elder. Thank you, Elder. Now we're beginning to scratch deeper into the surface of what a man is, because you see, once you know that, you know who everything is. I didn't say what. You know who everything is. Yes, brother. Okay, well, I didn't think about putting a direction to this conversation, but maybe you did. Is that what you want to do? Okay, well, no doubt. Hip-hop got it raw, and we appreciate that, and that's why I'm there to support hip-hop. But I want you to understand that we are in a space of discovery. We don't want definitions. We want you to exercise the verbiage that an open mind has access to. And not just what you brought to the think tank, but what you will uncover within. So, everyone, drop everything you thought you knew, because you can't learn with a full cup. If you come here thinking that you already know what everything is about, this path of the virtuous man, when I was teaching it to just 2 and 3 brothers, and when I gave it to my son, this was no bullshit. This is not about what you have been conditioned to believe in your defensive posture against the beast that you're fighting. This is about unraveling the core that sits awaiting your discovery. Yes, the first brother before you, and yes, brother.
I think we are as men is attachment from the physical, meaning as our ancestors wrote the hieroglyphics, that is the third dimension perception. Stated job explanation before that is perception. As soon as a woman feels we don't fulfill to that, she wants to, leave us for something else. What we are is the detachment, and the nettle is merely a blueprint to get back to that detachment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, let's give it up for the young brothers here.
In the 5 minutes before the break, we are saying, and what the brother was saying, is that the basic tendency of most males, of what males are, what the male energy is, to detach himself. The need for the female to invoke emotion in him at this time is her need to find what it is that she has in herself, because she needs to have his light in order to have her reflect what's within her. So what he is saying is we are not allowed the place to go into that space of detached awareness so that we can solve the problems of the civilization. We are constantly being distracted instead of becoming detached. So our distraction is causing us to become overblown in our left brain to figure out the next rent, the next this, and the next that, when the whole planet is moving at light speed to a place where this body that you are looking at me, listening at me, and experiencing this black think tank is not necessary and not relevant to the next time. Why are you holding on? What is a man? Here we go. Man is the impeccable question as he evolves in the impeccable answer. And with each answer, another question is invoked by his actions within impeccability. Can man become detached enough from what he does and what he has programmed to be to come into the knowing of who he is in the stillness of being, in the isness of being? Man is a composite of the universe. Man is the protector, the molder, I'm just giving this out there, and the instigator of intent. Without intent, there is no exercise of will. The will of the people has died. No one has asked why. Because the containment for will, the active principle and dynamic of intent, has been feminized. You don't want to solve shit. You don't want to do nothing, and the welfare state turns you that way. Thinking is dangerous. Thinking becomes a problem. Most of your best thinkers were your criminals, because they at least were using their minds and brains to do something with it. But niggas in politics, niggas on the pulpit,
called
Those
What
are
is
the
a Man?
most useless of God's gray matter thinkers on the planet. They do nothing to forward the spiritual intent of the cosmos. I want to, after we've discussed, or at least began the first stages of discussing the question, what is a man? Again, that is an impeccable question which the universe automatically begins to try to conform to give the impeccable answer, as the brother was speaking about. So in our quest for impeccability in our definitions of the world, we must first not answer what we think, because our thoughts are colonized. So immediately you're going to answer what you've been conditioned to think. When we begin to analyze such profound questions, such impeccable questions as what is a man or what is a woman, you cannot answer on the reactive mind, because then you are answering from a very shallow end of the pool. When someone asks you profound questions, that is the time to not reflect on what it is that you think you know, but to become still. That's the trap. That's the trap. Thought never wants to die. So every thought that you have thought about, that you have cataloged in your mind, every thought that you have brought to you for comfort, every thought that you've come to you to agitate you, to give you pleasure, the more you put your focus of attention on it, the greater its lifespan, and the stronger it has an influence over you. So the more you think about something, the greater strength it has. So immediately when you asked a powerful question, boom, you go to that strength. That thought immediately wants to manifest itself, because you are the thought and the thought is you. But thought is a thing, and it becomes a living principle. It does not want to die. So here I am before you today, actually speaking to the wall, brick by brick, of thoughts that you have erected to form your perception. So what I am, now when I speak to that wall, I'm just going to get back the reflection of what those bricks were harmoniously set in place to make you feel comfortable. So when I speak to that, I'm speaking to something that is comfortable, it's sure, it's stabilizing for you. The thought feels comfortable when it answers and verifies itself. No. The most uncomfortable thing in our search for truth, actually the reality that is in truth, is when you still the thoughts that you have become comfortable with. When you no longer give them the ability to answer for you. Because you are not the one that's answering. The observer takes a back seat to thought. And thought begins to react in order to protect the observer. Because the observer has built a catalog of thoughts that don't cross against the light, eat this, or don't eat this, or you get... So all these factoids are in there, and the observer is hiding behind all these things that they navigate the world with. But the most dangerous thing for thought is when the observer no longer depends on it. Because it is in the catalog of thoughts that the beasthood and those entities who deal with the synthetic synchronicity, they use the thoughts to orchestrate your world. So when you stop thinking, which is like, oh my God, that's like, you're kidding. No, I'm not. The thought process is the first thing that must be sacrificed if you are to go beyond the thresholds that thought has created to keep you in lockdown. So when I say to you, what is a man? I just immediately got all the walls throwing the bricks of what they knew at me. This, that, this, that, this, that. That's because the conditioning is there. And this is what you're going through. You're going through a decompression, a deprogramming at this point. So that question still lingers because it's an answer that unfolds. It's not something that you get and grasp immediately. It is to provoke you beyond your thinking. It is to show you what thoughts can do to trap you. That's why I asked that question. There is an answer, but the answer unfolds. It doesn't present itself. It evolves as you do. The man is an indefinable reality in which there strides an unknowable being. You see. And it is that unknowable being in the self-definition, in the journey of that, that's what we want to explore. The doer, you can always find him. The thinker, you can access him, but the knower, once you come to the understanding of the knower, then the doer and the thinker are no longer slaves to whoever it is that decodes what locks them down. And that's what's been happening with men. Men have been estranged from the knower being within them. We don't know who we are. We act upon what we've been conditioned to believe. We have remnants of the Piscean age lodged within us, like a thorn. And you know that by the Piscean age, the mandate is, I believe. We are in the so-called Aquarian age, which is the age of Hapi. And what is the mandate for that? I know. So if the mandate for the Aquarian time is I know, then it is the knower. Not what you think you know.
Break it down.
Check? So we must now harness the thinker. We must grab the thinker by the throat and shut it up. We must get into knowing mode. And that comes from stillness. But first, I cannot actually take you on the journey to that place as men until we have gone through a catharsis. Your present activity is based upon an inebriation of your intellect. You no longer use intellect to search for intelligence. Your intellect, being colonized, has been used to become the bucket or the cesspool or the drainage area for facts that masquerade as intelligence. You got assholes in schools that are up there with PhD and all those things behind their names who don't know shit from Shinola. Have not one, like your boy Pickett, does not have one iota of intuitive, cosmically sponsored intelligence. Or he would not have done what he did. These are the people that we now have created as our threshold. We created these idiots. So now, with the crippling of our consciousness as an entity, we see the generational decline and depreciation of our cosmic wellness. We are not people yet fully apprised of the level of, I guess, what's the word? Damage. Generational damage. Good. That we have suffered. But what I'm going to do now for us is I'm going to take us into a kind of a dark matter retrospective. In this dark matter retrospective, we are constantly given the pain of others, the pain of Jews. We're given the pain of the Armenians, and every time our pain is given, everybody says, bullshit. That's the past. Leave it alone, get over it. Nobody, you're here now. America has given you all the benefits of what you call it. Which is why we will never get reparations to match the level of our experience. What price our experience? Yes, there is no price. How do you even think to fix a price? Just hand over the country.
Thank you.
We have to become more aware of the fact that the institutions that we are asking for reparations from are bankrupt. There is no thing that belongs to any government here in the United States. There's nothing that belongs to us or them. It belongs to us. It is in trust right now, and there's someone who is in the trust, who's running the trust, that's keeping us down, and that is the Queen of England through the Pope and the Vatican. This whole thing that we're looking at cannot be given reparations. You can't get reparations calling yourself an African American. You want to know why? Nothing like that exists. And what you have done, listen carefully, brothers and sisters, and to all the people in the reparation movement. If you call yourself an African American, you are calling yourself an immigrant. Let me say that again. When you call yourself an African American, you call yourself an immigrant of immigrant sources. Therefore, you weren't born here. You are actually defined by the first word in the phrase, making you an immigrant. You take on immigrant status when you call yourself African American, which was fine because, again, a people searching for self-identity begins to experiment with different words and names until they find the right one. Well, you are indigenous, not only to this land, but to the planet. Anywhere you take your shoes off and walk on our Mother Earth is yours. Everyone else are perpetrators. Everyone else are aliens. Everyone else are sovereigns. You are not a sovereign. You can never be a sovereign. You can deal with sovereign status as a name that is given to you so that you may travel freely, but you are not sovereign. If you're sovereign, that is a privilege. You don't deal with privileges. Your people deals with natural law, natural rights. So all your words that you use to identify yourself, just the way you identify what you thought was a man, by the definition of man, are things that these COINTELPRO bastards throw in the mix for you to pick up because they train the Negroes through the boule to give you what you need to talk amongst yourselves with. Calling yourself black, Negro, African American, Native American. You are indigenous, period. I am native born to the planet and to this place. I have been in America long before you were walking upright. The continental drift, I will find my history or my story back before the continents divided. I'm Mexican, America, Mericua, land of the great winds, Turtle Island, all of that, Africa, you could fit them right together with South America. It was all one, Pangea, Atlantis, whatever you want to call it. And we walked this earth barefooted. We were the scientists of the planet. We were everything of the planet, and it was taken from us. We gave it up. We degenerated, essentially. So I'm saying that in this retrospective, we have to examine and go through a kind of a catharsis as to who we were and who we are. But we can't dwell on who we were because who we were is who we are. And the problem is we are caught in time and we were timeless beings. So to get caught up with, yeah, we were slaves and we're this, there you go, feeding the reality. Now we got us as kings, yes, because the hip-hop brothers will say kings, queens, yes, boom. Hey, but they're down with bitches and niggas and all that, hoes. We are beyond time. It is good to speak of our great times and to know about great times and to talk about our pain. But who we were then is who we are now. We don't have to attain it. It is already us. All we have to do is stop what we're doing. And everything comes rushing like it's been following us. You ever start the car and you have something trailing? It's going, by momentum alone, it'll smack us right in the back of our heads. It's physics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you through a visual retrospective of the masculine principle. And this visual retrospective is to kind of offset, not meaning any derogatory things to sisters, but to offset what has been happening to the melanated dark matter male, the other half of your equation, as the feminine yin principle. And I want you to understand that what is overt now has become covert. And the same pictures that you see in your mind happening to the body, know that it is happening to his mind. Every day, subtly, subconsciously, subliminally, this very same thing is happening to your brothers around the world. I want you to understand, can you have the lights out, please, for a minute there? Right above? Yes. Well, we didn't give it up more than we lost it because we lost ourselves.
Okay, that's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Why would you give it up?
Okay, yeah, that's a cosmic question. Yeah, the light above. Yeah, the cosmic questions. I don't remember the name of this brother. Sonetta, I want to let you know, gave me these pictures. And they have been extremely profound pictures because what they do is they go back into the archives, my consciousness records of myself and my family, and what it has done to me and my ancestors to cripple me and my ancestors, because the same things were happening in the West Indies that were happening here on this island. It was happening all over the world, in England, every place else. Lynching and the killing of the black male was, I believe, the beginning of the ascendancy of the matriarchal world. And I'm very, very, I always look at the metaphysics of a thing. And I first and foremost, which I'm probably going to repeat here, to tell you that Africa, that which is called Africa, was never matriarchal. It just blows my mind for anyone to believe that while living in the matriarchal society that we're living in under feminism, that Africa somehow reflected this. No way. You cannot begin any universe, any solar system without a sun. You cannot begin life without the masculine principle. So all civilizations begin with the masculine paternal system. To surrender that, to say that we started as a matriarchal mother principle because they are reading the end part of our fall as a civilization, right. What we became when we converted to matriarchism. At the very time we were destroyed. Is that a clue? That's right. What history are we reading today about Africa except what we were, and at the time, what happened when we fell? Are we examining what kind of people or what race of people and under what system they followed that conquered us? We have not yet taken the electromagnetic yin-yang, male-female dynamics of how the whole universe works, because a lot of our brothers have been feminized. Even the most intelligent ones that are out there speaking of chem and all of that, they have become feminized in their thinking. And they think that the worship of the female principle is what all of us did in Africa. No. That's not necessary to understand. It's not necessarily what it is that was being taught by the information that our ancestors left. The feminine principle does not become enhanced without the masculine principle. It's stupid to even think of that. The fact that women were part of the king-making process, that's natural. But to say that she ruled, no. To say that man worshiped woman as God, no. Something happened if man is worshiping something other than himself as God. And something happens to woman when she worships something other than herself as God. We are not reading the information correctly. Africa could not have stood for the years that I know metaphysically it stood, some 150,000 years, without the masculine principle being the guide and the foundation for the feminine principle to grow and flourish. To erase the masculine principle as some form of secondary act of nature, that's suicide, brothers. And I'm saying to all you teachers out there who are pushing the female in front of you, that's the same shit white people did when they take women and put them through the doors first. That's an exercise subconsciously and psychosomatically when they would be pushing them women and children overboard when the ships were going down so the sharks would eat them first. How could you put your woman through fucking doors in a place you have not been in to check to see whether she's in danger? That's the white man.
That's right. Teach.
Your woman is behind you in places when you don't know what's going on. That's when your male instinct comes out for danger. Women can sense danger only after the man has left her presence. After that, in her own innate nature, she defers it to the man. In Vietnam, brothers were telling me that they would put the brothers in point when they go in country. Because the brothers had the 6th, 7th, and 8th sense to know when somebody was out there. You have diminished the black man or the male principle in your life, sisters, and that's why you suffer. We have diminished ourselves because we refuse to search for ourselves anymore. Well, this has been what has happened to us as males, because psycho-spiritually, I'm not talking about the physical pain. We got to stop with the physical pain. This is temporary shit. It's not about the body. It's about the spirit. What has happened to us as a concentric consciousness of dark matter that we come to suffer like this? What is a man? This same man was paraded. They said he stood like a king. Didn't say a word. Showed no emotions. They said about him when he articulated it, his statues. This, especially for our sisters, I want to imprint upon your psyche what it is that men are suffering psychospiritually today. The physicality of our pain, suffering, our castrations, our mutilations and everything has become an internal process at this time. We've constantly, no doubt, we've studied the feminine psyche because you went through the same shit, but we have overstudied it. The reason why now we are not moving forward is because we have not studied the man. It is he that's going to take us out of this shit. And if we do not raise warriors, the next generation will be slaves again. So unless your man rises, you continue to fall, sister. Remember, I am showing you this as archetypal imprints for you to understand and convert in your mind that there is a psycho-spiritual war, and his soul and his spirit is just as damaged. You too, brothers, understand that. And this is something where we come to terms with it, because as brothers, there are no tears. We can't. Our manhood was never for tears, because as Africans, we never cried. There's no need to. What tears? If we did cry, it was at a time when, boom, okay, the passing of a loved one, a great king or a great queen, boom, and it was over because we knew the ancestors had them. But this constant suffering and tears and crying, that's pathological. Babies not supposed to cry. They argue, but you're supposed to be a mother with the instincts to precognitively know what the next thing the child is going to do. That's your feminine instinct. That is why you're so good with languages, they say. Because you're supposed to decode what a baby can't say. You know cues, your social cues, your skills. It's supposed to know exactly what I'm feeling when I give a facial. The woman knows because she is wired to overstand actions and facial cues, which is in her nature she's supposed to now help to ameliorate. The men deal with words. That's why we read. We deal with words because we were constantly articulating and trying to decipher the universe. We couldn't do it because you weren't wired that way, and you were raising the next generation to go further than the one sitting there calculating the universe. That is why, and I tell this, those people who wrote about the mother principle being all that we worship, you have to understand that as above, so below. Check? When a baby is born, who is God to that baby? The mother. Understand what I'm saying? God is mother. Check. That nipple is contact with the universe. It's like right there at the central sun. You carry two aspects of the sun right here because it's the font of not only love. You don't have a breast down by here or in your back. It's right over your heart. To transmit not only milk, but the energy that created the milk. So when I'm articulating and breaking down the universe so I can make it a more paradisal place for you, you are filling in the spots that I may not even be paying attention to. But don't fault me because I don't pay attention. I'm paying attention to something greater. You're supposed to pay attention to the little things. You're supposed to bring me back by things that you do and place in front of me to notice, to see you, beautiful as you are. Oh, wow. Hey. You know, those things are very important. The aesthetics of relationship, which is something we can talk about later on down the line. But again, we are speaking about how it is that the imprint of who we are has not yet, as men, been given to the wider melanated community as a man. When we as men automatically talk about us, we include women. So we always say us. So because we are provider protectors, we would never leave you out of anything. We say we're going forward to freedom, men. Forward to the people, power to the people. We ain't saying power to men. Up men. Yes, men. How do we as Africans ever say it without our women? That's stupid. How is it then, sister, you can say that shit in reverse? I am woman, hear me roar. What is that dumb shit? And that is a discontented white woman with a lot of money and nothing to do. And again, this is not excusing all the things that we have done as men in our own pathological states. This is to just tell you as it is from our side. This same brother-looking brother, this is what he looked like after a while. So, burned alive. Understanding that the suffering that we're dealing with, the fact that who we were as warrior men, as men who wanted to express ourselves as those who created civilizations that broke down the dark matter consciousness into what they talk about, Newtonian and Einsteinian laws and all that shit. That shit is kindergarten shit compared to what we did. This is what we became afterwards. What happened? What happened? As we move forward, we begin to see that right down here, it looked like it's right down the block that this happened. We see this brother. How do you leave a brother like that hanging from a tree? What kind of mindset? Who are these people that we chose as our executioners? What part of us became cancerous enough to express itself as this? What was the price that we agreed to pay to keep this world stabilized? How and where were we when we signed the contract to become the scapegoats of the planet? Because you do this when you really hate yourself. How is it that you could gather around the way we take pictures to actually have pride in this situation? 1919, this is the last century. Not too long ago, people. Do you think that we are not still in the wake of that very specific journey that we're dealing with at this point? And I don't think that we actually see it from the men's point of view, because again, collectively as a people, we are taught communality. And communality is how we move forward. But since they have dissected us so that we could study ourselves, we have now had to do something that we did not need to do extrospectively, but we knew introspectively. We knew about the feminine principle because we lived in tune with nature. We knew about the masculine principle because we lived in tune with the cosmos. But now, since the cosmos has been removed from us, and we have a blanket of rhetoric and bullshit called religion, which has relegated the true consciousness dictates of the stars to stories in a book that have been interpreted by a few people that make you believe that there was somebody called Jesus the Christ. Everybody back there, give it up for Brother Shabazz, one man. Brothers who make you believe, as it stands right now, those who make you believe that Jesus walked the earth. And we so haphazardly mention it as if it's a second nature matter of fact. Yeah, he walked the earth. Yeah, I saw the nigga, he down on 123rd Street. We talk to ourselves about Jesus as if the motherfucker really existed. The conditioning we have steeped into to call some white man's God our God. To have embraced your oppressor through his God. To call it haphazardly. To go to church and call on the apostles. Talk about the wondrous works. I mean, it's the height of pimpology. Psychological pimpology. Every time you mention the word Jesus, your subconscious that went through the shit that with the master that gave you that name to worship, you fall back. You stay still. Any black man or black woman, any Melanite who takes Jesus as their God, accept Jesus as your Savior, you ain't got to do shit for yourself again. That's the ultimate welfare check. That's spiritual welfare. The motherfucker's pulling. He's promoting spiritual welfare. Accept this card and you ain't gotta work. You may have to do a few little things like sweep the street, but you ain't gotta really work. You can see Jesus, just tithe and say the name, and it's bullshit. They took the real church out of you. Gave you a white boy first, and then now you say, well, I'm gonna dress him up as black. This one is particularly profound because it looks like he was crucified. And of course you see your smiling cave dwellers.
He was shot over 1,000 times.
Yeah, no doubt.
1,000 rounds.
Yeah, no doubt. This is just psycho-spiritual inference. This brother was hanging there so long that his eye began to stink. And the guy's holding his nose. And it wasn't just one at a time. This was done in picnic settings. That's what the picnic situation is. It's called pick a nigga. Pick a nigga. And you can kill him. Murder. And they call us murderers.
Right.
It's in their psyche. They're the cancer of the planet, which is the deep part of it. There are a few redeemable ones that may have caught the cure because, like that little girl, she's singing black music and tuning in to the black frequencies. But some of them finding out that they need to redeem themselves. And they're trying to find their way back, but they have nothing to latch on to because they're not spiritual creatures. They gotta come and tap into you. So they hang us. It looked like Prospect Park. No doubt there probably was some stuff going on in Prospect Park too. And right up here in Central Park. Now I want you to look behind and look at the demon. That demon seed that's back there, grinning. See, that's what happens when you let Brittany back into your house. That's what happened when Ms. Ann comes a-smiling at you. If you don't understand what I'm saying by this, then, you know, I don't know what I'm doing up here. Yeah, and those are handcuffs, which means that this is very recent. But you have to understand that this is not just a lynching that is going on, because now they've included white boys. They're doing the same thing. And I want to show you another form of lynching so that we can move forward and go into the dialogue, because just as I put in information in the beginning, I want to put in some information for you brothers and sisters to have. About 10 years, less than that, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, this young brother was one of the brothers that used to run with my son. He was a little wild, a little crazy. My son said he was nuts and crazy anyway, so, you know, inevitably certain things were going to happen to him. But a while back, you know me and the AIDS at you, you know, you're right. So
tapping out.